Hello, I'm Bood and welcome to the channel and welcome to another all or nothing video. This one is going to be with Oldham Athletic. Hopefully you're going to enjoy it and smash that thumbs up. Get involved in the comments, maybe even subscribe if you're brand new to my channel. Go and watch some of the other content if you are new. And if you really want to help my channel, you can always become a patron. If you are a patron, make sure you check your Patreon messages. I've sent you all details of all the things I need to make you a player within my custom series that will be coming out hopefully in the next few weeks. But for now, it is here with Oldham, the Latics, in another all or nothing episode. And I've decided to do something a bit different than the other ones. I'm not going down the striker route. I've decided to give Oldham Athletic a brand new engine in the middle of the park. And that engine is going to consist of two of the best young midfielders in the game today. Both 18 years old, both with bright futures ahead of them. Both WONDERKIDS were in the game. Jude Bellingham and Mr. Eduardo Camavinga. Absolute class young players who I've seen become superstars within other saves, win Ballon d'Ors and all that good stuff. But why have I decided to put them at Oldham? Well, I've got good ties to Oldham Athletic. My mother was a casualty nurse at Oldham Royal Hospital for over 30 years. It's basically next door to Boundary Park. And when we'd take it to work sometimes, if my dad could, he'd tie it into a game, he'd take me. So I spent a lot of time, went to quite a few games at Oldham as a kid. He used to sneak me in sometimes under the turnstiles when I was short enough. The cheap bastard. So I've always had a lot of feeling for Oldham. I'm hoping these two young lads, trapped here for 20 years, can lift their fortunes, because this club was once a founding member of the Premier League. I mean, look at that team photo. I mean, look at some of the teams that are no longer in the Premier League. It's crazy, really. And it also makes me feel old, because I do know every single one of those players. They used to have hair like Tim Sherwood. But if you look on that front row there's Andy Ritchie, absolute Oldham legend. So yeah, founding member of the Premier League. But right now, they find themselves at the bottom of League 2. In a bit of trouble. They've been badly run for years. A lot of bad decisions. They've just brought back Sheridan as a manager. I think it's the sixth time the former player has been the manager of Oldham, and I'm thinking they're going to be going down, become a non-league team, be the new Stockport County of the non-league, probably swap places with Stockport County. So these lads are going to be trapped here for 20 years. Now I do realise, and I think it's going to happen, that these players will not reach their full potential, right? Because they're going to be playing down there. They're not playing top level football, but they still should become very, very good players. Now, unlike my Mbappe and Haaland video, where they're like in the early 20s, so they've got locked in potential. These two lads are 18. Their potential could go a different way. Now, as you can see, if you look at Camavinga, he's got -10 potential. There's not many players on the game that get that. It's very special. That is basically making sure that this lad has all the potential in the world to become one of the greatest central midfielders in the world, but he might not reach that playing for Oldham Athletic. I totally get that, but I still believe he could become a very good player. And so can Jude, because he's starting off a bit better, but his potential is slightly less. But I'm hoping, even though they're not going to be scoring tons of goals, having them in this team can drive Oldham forward. Can it get them back to the Premier League? Because they're going to need all the help they can get. Because Oldham Athletic are not in the best place. I mean, very low morale. Only got a reputation of just over 4,000. No money, just under 40 grand in the bank. No transfer budget. Can only give out 800 quid a week. Only got a grand to play with. It's not great. And the club finds itself in a good few million debt, which for a club at this level, this size, is not good. So, yeah. It'd be nice to be boring and maybe put Haaland there, because I think if you put someone like Haaland at Oldham, he'd bang in 40 goals a season, probably fly him up through the league. So I just thought this would be cool. And this was off a recommendation of my friend Joe, I think. So thank you. Is it going to work? We're going to find out. But before we do, I've loaded up a standard save just to look at Oldham's odds for the season. And they've got them at 15th on here, even though they're doing really bad in real life. Now, will these two lads make any difference? Well, yes, it will. Apparently, having two 18-year-old WONDERKIDS superstars in your team gives you a good boost. They're now favourites to go up. But will them two players alone be enough? I mean, Oldham are going to have no money. I've not changed Oldham in the slightest. So the real Oldham they've just got these two lads. Are they going to be enough to drive them on through? Or are they just going to stay around the bottom leagues? Will they be able to attract better players? Having these two guys locked in for 20 years, I was well interested to see what two midfielders could do over maybe two strikers. So we'll start with Camavinga himself, and you know, he's a good player. You can tell he's got a lot of developing to do. Will he still develop? Will he still play for France? I don't think they probably win Ballon d'Ors. I'm basically ruining the careers, but it should be fun to look. Now, when you watch up a player, and I've talked about this in some of my other all or nothing videos, you just got to put a future transfer in place. So they've got a 20-year deal here at Oldham, and they're both on 10 grand a week, which is a lot for Oldham. It should be worth every penny. And so if you look at the transfer, he's basically going back to Rennes when he'll be 38 years old. Here's Jude, and even though he's 18 and his potential isn't as much, I think he's in a better place right now, and looks like he's got way better attributes. But we'll see how he develops too. Now he is also going home. When he's 38 years old, he's going to be going back to Birmingham. Now I thought at the beginning of this game Keith Curle was the manager, but when you load it up, he's not the manager. And weirdly, this is so weird. Wait till you see who comes in to that first job. Just like real life, it's crazy. Of course, they play at the beautiful Boundary Park, a stadium that didn't have a stand at the side of it for years. Apparently it was mega windy. They've got one now, although I don't think they own it. It's weird. Oldham's is such a strange, weird place. If you're an Oldham fan, give me some details in the comments. And trust me, I might be a Manchester United fan, but I do love a bit of Oldham Athletic. And one day I'm going to brave it and go for it and make a little mini-series with Oldham just to see if I can conquer my demon of my last sacking. I've nearly been sacked a couple of times since, but I'm on a great run. Like, FM15's a long time ago. So it's like this stigma. It's in my head. It's like a demon, and I need to conquer that demon one day, I reckon, and try and save Oldham. Maybe I'll do it on FM23 if they get relegated. Try and get Oldham back to the top. The squad is light, and they've got these two lads, but yeah, I had no idea this was going to turn out. I genuinely don't. So I left it on holiday indefinitely, and I've got 1 million save points. We're going to jump in after 10 years, and then we'll jump in at the end as well. Well, here we are now on the 1st of June 2031, and straight away I'm buzzing because they're in the Sky Bet Championship, so having two very good midfielders has obviously helped him, because I've never seen Oldham in the Championship in any save or simulation I've ever done for the last few years, so I'm buzzing with that. That is progression. Jude Bellingham is a legend, and Camavinga is a favoured personnel. Look at that, he's up there with Andy Ritchie and Roger Palmer. He used to play when I went, because Joe Rowe was the manager as well when I used to go, and I just always remember as a kid, I don't remember the football, I was little. I just remember this great feeling being there with my dad and experiencing with my dad and looking up at my dad and singing Roger Palmer and looking at the plastic pitch. So yeah, amazing memories, just no memories of the football. But anyway, we're here now in a fantasy world of 2031, and the Latics are in the Championship. So they did get instantly promoted, and then they got promoted again. So having a little engine rooms really pushed them on. But then they got relegated, spent a couple of years back in League One, got promoted. Ooh, had a great finish, mid-table in Championship. Are they on the way up? No. Because the following season they got relegated, then they got promoted, and then this season they finished 11th. So it's good. I wasn't expecting them to be in the Premier League. I'm pretty chuffed, to be honest. I don't know what, you don't know what to think, do you? So yeah, that's pretty good. Hopefully at some point they do taste some Premier League football. Let's see who they brought in. It's like he loves it. He was there for 7 years. Wow. That's a long stint for him at Oldham. He's genuinely been there about 1 million times. So you might not be able to see this for my head, but he was a City player. Played for Leeds, Forest, Wednesday, Birmingham, Bolton, Doncaster, and then Oldham. Then he was player manager, player coach. Then he was manager. Went to Chesterfield, Plymouth, Newport, then Oldham, Notts County, back to Oldham, Fleetwood, Carlisle, Chesterfield, Waterford, Wigan, Swindon, Oldham. Wow. And looks like he left to become Ireland manager. After him though, they've had Danny Ings, whatever you want to call him. He got sacked after 80 days. 80 days. Jesus, Danny. That is pathetic. Nigel Atkins lasted 189 days. And now they've got Pedro Martins, who's managed to get past a year. So after this long period, it's like they're not messing about here, are they? It's like, sort yourself out. Competition-wise, obviously we know about the promotions. Oh, The Johns won to win down here, and they've not won it. Runners up 2 years running. I mean, they've had some takeovers. So this Jim Parmenter failed twice. Then the chairman leaves, and they get Warren Barber in, takes over in a consortium. But then 3 years later, leaves. That's quite quick. You don't really see that often. I don't. And they've got Paul Delves. He's taken over from within. And they've managed to upgrade their youth and training facilities once. But you got to remember, this is just normal Oldham. And none of them were tycoon takeovers. So unless the computer's given one of these new guys a bit of money, they haven't really got any money. They need to get to that Premier League. But looks like Jude and Eduardo are doing something right. So we'll start with the vice captain, Eduardo Camavinga, who definitely isn't the player I've seen him become on other saves. So obviously, you know, being here is halting him, his value. He hasn't played for France since he signed for Oldham, which we all know he would have. I've seen him get 4 Ballon d'Ors back to back on other saves. So yeah, it's affected him, but it is what it is. It's a bit of fun. It's an experiment. He's still a very good player, especially for Oldham in the Championship. I mean, career-wise, he's playing tons of games and always getting over a 7, contributing with goals, a few assists. So he's doing a job. And he definitely didn't cost Oldham 26.5 million. That'll be his Real Madrid fee, I'm guessing. Onto the captain, Jude Bellingham, and he is a good player, so he's done better out of it. He's a world-class midfielder, and I just think even though his potential wasn't as good, I don't know if it's because his starting frame was better, but he still looks like a very, very good player. 7 caps for England, so I think it's definitely affected their international careers playing at a lower level. Now he too has played a ton of games. Looks like he's played way more. Look at that, 46 games consistently. The guy is an absolute machine, scoring goals, assisting goals. Definite captain. You can see why he is a legend already. But obviously, they've gone up through the leagues and they've dipped in and out of the Championship, and now they've back to being that mid-table Championship. Hopefully, it doesn't happen again where they finished 10th and then they got instantly relegated. They need to try and build on this because these lads are now coming towards the end of their prime years, into their prime years. These next few years are going to be very important to utilise Jude and Eduardo. But they've definitely got better players. Obviously, they're in the Championship. How much money have they got? Do you know what? I'm going to take them over. Let's have a nosy. Well, not a lot, to be fair. Got 1.2 in the bank, 3.5 to spend. Yeah, it could be a struggle, but it's not impossible that we might see him in the Premier League. Like, I have no idea. Like I said, I've just holidayed indefinitely, and it's got save file points. I've just not opened them, so I'm hoping it's good. I don't want it to be shit, because it'd be a shit video if nothing great happens. So here we are now. I've just loaded up my 20-year save file. It's the 1st of June 2041, and they're in the Championship. They're second in the Championship, so they're going into the Prem. So I don't know if that's the first time they've been in the Prem, but when they do go in the Prem, they won't have Jude and Eduardo, because those two little granddads are moving on this summer. So let's find out what they've been doing. Well, they have been in the Premier League twice. So this is going to be the 3rd time, even though it's going to be without the lads. They have actually had stints in the Premier League. So we left them there, didn't we, finishing 11th. The following season, 6th. Then it was 8th, 7th. Then they got promoted by finishing 2nd. Came straight down, being rock bottom. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Finished 4th. That would have been a playoff win. And then they were 17th. And 17th. Wow, that's like hanging on in there. And then they finished 19th and got relegated, but they've just finished 2nd behind Burnley, 96 points. Loving that, back in the Prem. So let's look at their Premier League years, and this was 2035-36 when they came up and went straight back down on 27 points, finishing rock bottom. Good to see Sunderland back in the Prem though, even though they've been relegated, and Derby too. Love that. Hope Derby survive, man. We all need to, you know, get together with Derby, even if you're not a Derby fan. We can't have them dying in real life. That'd be absolutely heartbreaking. So obviously they went down to the Championship, but they came straight back up, and this was that first year back in the Prem. Look at that, 35 points. Derby is still in there. Wow, 4 points clear, so that's safe enough. So they stayed in the Prem, and the next year, 2 reasons I'm in. Look how close that is. They've managed to survive in the Premier League with 27 points, right? Lost 25 games, only got past Palace on goal difference, right? But what the hell is that? Oldham Athletic won the Carabao Cup. A Carabao Cup? Oh, look. I don't know why I'm dead excited, but I am. I mean, that is pretty cool. After City went back-to-back twice. Look at Watford. Why are Watford so good, by the way? Have they actually kept a manager? Brilliant. Yeah, Man City back-to-back. Oldham beat Tottenham Hotspur, who had lost it the year before to City at Wembley. Spurs. Although Spurs did win one in 25. Anyway, Oldham won a freaking Carabao Cup, and then City have lost 2 on the run, which is awesome. So they won it at the end of 2039. So the 2 lads would have been old, but they must have helped, and got put into the Europa Conference League, right? So they had to qualify, and they did his style. Then they got into their group and were amazing. I mean, the teams aren't great. It's the 3rd division of Europe, but still has. Oh, I love that. I love it that they've won a trophy and got into some form of Europe, but just once. I'm happy with that. And then they got to Montpellier, got beat 3-1. Jude's playing, no Camavinga, and then batter them 4-0, and then come up against Wolfsburg and 2-2 and lose on penalties. Gutted, so close, Oldham. That has made my day. So they've never got into any other cup finals, apart from obviously the Papa John's years ago. One major cup final and won it. And then the following year, got relegated. So yeah, happy days. Honestly, how many takeovers? So obviously we got the new chairman in 28. He lasted 8 years, and someone else tried to take over, and then he left anyway the year after, and Toby Hewson took over from within. Everyone thinks it's from within. Why couldn't we just have a tycoon takeover? That'd have been pretty special, wouldn't it? Although a few seasons in the Premier League, we all know the kind of money you get can always help your club, and they actually got underseal heating installed in 2035. Finally, relocated to the John Smith Stadium. I've been Huddersfield, not too far, I suppose. While Boundary Park was getting a bit of an upgrade, and they've done the training again. Onto the managers, and we left it with Pedro, who actually lasted 6 years, which is crazy compared to these 2 lads, especially Danny. You know, 80 days. Can't get over that. Then we left. We got this geezer in. He got sacked. Richard Cresswell loves the caretaker job, doesn't he? Andoni came in. He lasted a year. He left. Then we got David Turnbull. He got sacked. And then Victor Wanyama. Victor Wanyama has been here for 2 years. He's had a promotion and relegation, and of course a Carabao Cup win. And he's not a bad manager. Been Montreal manager, Brighton manager, now Oldham manager, and he kept them up justice, 27 points, won a cup. The following year they're in Europe. They got relegated, so I'm wondering Europe might have not helped keep him in the Premier League, but he's stayed in charge and he's took them back up. So let's look at the players, and we'll start with Camavinga, who is now 38 years old and about to leave and go home to France. Managed 10 caps, and he's not the best player anymore, but he is old. Veteran midfielder. I think natural fitness. If you've got a player who's got, on these FM22, I've realised, you've got a player who's got like 19, 20 natural fitness, they seem to keep their ability and their attributes a lot longer. He just never really developed from his basic framework, did it? It really affected him being at Oldham. You know, it is what it is. He definitely helps, because I've not seen Oldham in the Premier League ever on anything. Looking at his career, obviously he was consistent for a very long time. It looks like the last 2 years he's gone to a bit more of a bit part role. Wanyama's got him here and there as a squad player. Jude, on the other hand, he's not done bad. Only managed 11 caps for his country, but he's still a good player. I think he did better out of it. So maybe, you know, this kind of shows you in a way. I've put them both at Oldham. They're not going to develop like they would have if they were a massive, huge European team. But one of them had -10 and one of them had -9.5. It's only little, but it shows you, doesn't it? Maybe, you know, it was an injury or so on, but I think Jude's a better player on the game, I'd say, out of this. Let me know what you think. And career-wise, he's still bossing it. He's not become a bit part player. He's still playing consistently. I mean, he's had one bad year, and that was last year when they got relegated. 35 games. First time I think he's had under a 7 average rating. Now, Camavinga is now an icon, not just a favoured personnel. He is an icon. Jude, though, captain for 20 years, is still an absolute legend at the club. Up there with Richie. Love it. But if you look at Camavinga there, look at that, 778 games, 123 goals, average rating of 7.21. Jude, over 1,000 games, 250 goals. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a competition between the two. It wasn't like Mbappe versus Haaland, where I put Mbappe at Celtic and Haaland at Rangers. This was about these two teaming up, like my other All or Nothing video with Messi and Ronaldo trying to save Derby. And I think they've done a good job with a team like Oldham, with the Oldham's resources and fan base and where they were coming from. They've definitely just having them 2 players in the engine room has helped massively. And of course, we have to check, because I do see genuinely both players win Ballon d'Ors on normal saves and other simulations. But this shows you, doesn't it? Look at that, Mbappe, Haaland dominating. Haaland's the last real player to win it. He's at Man City on this save, and Mbappe's at Real Madrid. But on their video I did, they won a few late in their careers, but they didn't win like this either. So it did genuinely affect them. But it was all about on them trying to help Oldham, and I think they achieved it. Now we're going to look at their biographies. I'm not going to talk through it. Feel free to pause it and have a good nosy. This is Jude Bellingham's, and this is Eduardo Camavinga's. Now, what we're going to do is I've holidayed a couple more years, so I don't know if they're still playing. They're obviously going home to France and Birmingham, and we'll see what's happened to him at the end of the career. So here we are, just 2 years later, and Eduardo has retired. He's 40 years old, and he didn't stay at Rennes. So of course he's signed for him, but they've gone, we did this deal 20 years ago, you shit now. And stuck him straight down into Rennes 2. Now he did play down in the lower levels of France, 28 games, and played very well. And then they sold him to Paris for 15 grand, where he didn't play, and then he retired. Jude, on the other hand, is still going. He's still going and playing well. He's in the Championship with Birmingham, and he's given him 2 years, and he's not retired. Honestly, just my opinion, doing something like this sometimes can show you a few things, and if I'm honest, if I had the money and it's a toss-up between signing Jude or Camavinga, I'm buying Jude, because I'm getting years out of the lad. Look at him, getting years out of him. I mean, like I said, it's not a race between the players, but if it was, I'd say Jude won it. And he's going into the Premier League with Oldham, because they're back in the Championship. That's awesome. So of course we know they've gone up in their last season. The following year, without the two superstars, they finished 19th in the Premier League, came back straight back down, but now obviously they're going straight back up. They're a yo-yo club, but this whole part, this graph, I've not seen Oldham do ever. So yeah, very happy that they've managed to help a club that is very dear to me relive some of its Premier League history, even though they weren't in the Premier League for that long in the first place. They're still a founding father of it. So there we go, that is the end of All or Nothing with Oldham Athletic and Camavinga and Bellingham. Hopefully you enjoyed it. It is just a bit of fun. I do enjoy these. Easy to make for me, and I love seeing the outcomes of it, and I'm happy with the outcome. Let me know what you think in the comments, especially if you're an Oldham fan. Fingers crossed your club doesn't get relegated, because I do like them. Now, I do want to do another one, although I'm thinking of going lower level Scotland, and I'm thinking the two best centre-halves. Now, I've got an idea of who some of them are, but let me know what you think. Which two players could I use? I might pick one of them, I might not. Again, let me know in the comments, and if you haven't already, go and check out my other All or Nothing videos. Go and catch up on my Building Venezia series, and keep your eye out for my custom series. If you know what the Budiverse is, it's coming into full effect. We're going to have such a glorious, in-depth story, hopefully, with a lot of history involved from my channel, all into one custom club series. Patrons are going to be involved. I'm hopefully going to get some of you guys involved by doing regen competitions, so you can get named after players and all that. It's going to be a lot of fun, hopefully. Put a lot of detail into the database, so hopefully you'll tune in for that, and hopefully you're happy and you're safe. And I do appreciate everything you do for me. Anyone who watches adverts, thumbs up, comments and everything, but like I always say, your view is the most important thing, and I love it and I love you. So stay happy, stay safe. I'm Bood. Bye bye.